Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang Dhammang Sanghang Namasami. Okay, so this evening, tonight, I thought I would talk a little bit about, or share some reflections about something that's been on my mind for quite some time now. Pretty much since I came back here from a trip to Sweden. And it was something that, or maybe a situation that affected me quite a lot actually. Had quite a big impact spiritually. And it has led to a lot of various reflections and contemplations. Also trying to integrate that into my, I guess, understanding or way of life, something like that. Trying to digest what I experienced. And the situation was that I was visiting some close relatives. I was staying there, and they have a fairly or quite very challenging situation in terms of health, especially old age sickness. And obviously I've known them for a long time, so to see how it changes in the bodies, the kind of various ailments and diseases and general deterioration of the body. Just seeing that, so for example, various cancer and also loss of memory, Alzheimer's, various problems with the body, and also the treatments and the side effects of the treatments and what all these things leads to. You take one medicine for some ailment, and then they have side effects, and you have to take some other medicine for the side effects, and so on and so forth, until you have this great mass of pills and medicines and treatments and all kinds of things. So also just seeing how all these things affect the energy levels, tiredness and so on, and how it affects sleep. So it's more difficult to sleep, which in turn obviously also affects one's energy levels even more. And then how that also affects the mood and the kind of spiritual well-being, and how that in turn makes it even more difficult to deal with new health problems or new challenges that arise, all the doctor's appointments and everything else that comes together with that. And also when there's two people living together and both have quite a lot of problems, then it can also be quite challenging relating to each other when you need to rely on somebody, but they're also experiencing difficulties. And I think especially also when it's people you have known for a long time, and you can see it, how they're struggling, how they kind of want things to be like they were before, something like this. Oh, the next treatment will fix it, or after the next doctor's appointment I will be okay and we can go back to the way it used to be. But kind of gradually also the person realizing that that's not really going to happen. It's just going in one direction. And seeing the struggles, the suffering that comes from that, also on the psychological, spiritual area. And also from my point of view, as very much dedicating my time and life to the spiritual path, when you see somebody else who has no interest at all in the spiritual side, have quite a materialistic view of life and things. And when they find themselves in such a situation where the body is pretty much falling apart, there's a lot of pain, how difficult there is to find a refuge or somewhere to abide, somewhere to put one's attention or mind, to find some kind of comfort or peace or stillness. And where those things where you find your happiness, where you find your usual delight, satisfaction, just fall away one by one. So the taste for food, example, just because of various medicines or conditions, just food doesn't taste very good anymore. So even maybe a nausea around it. Difficult to go out. Difficult to walk and so on. So all these things being kind of taken away from you in one sense, and there's not that much you can do about it. It's kind of quite out of one's control. And also seeing that when one has relied so much on the body, identified so much with the body, how painful that can be when the body changes and deteriorates. So of course the old age and sickness, that's nothing new, and we reflect on it, and we have chants very, very frequently here in the monastery, for example. And it's a way to also get familiar and to not be surprised when these things happen. So we prepare ourselves to some degree. But still, when you experience it in person or with people you love, people you hold very dear, people you've known for a very long time, then it suddenly takes on quite a different, it's on a different level. it's much, much deeper. It affects you much more. And also all these things that might have been reflections or thoughts in the mind suddenly becomes very, very real. Very much right there. I think just because of that why it affected me so much, and led to quite a few various reflections, I guess you can say. And one was obviously just the sense of the importance and urgency for spiritual practice, for finding something that is beyond all this, place where when eventually the body goes in that direction, you have hopefully, or we have hopefully, find somewhere to rest or some refuge from this, something that's to some degree beyond all this pain, beyond all this deterioration. So that was probably the strongest reaction in me, is that a renewed or much increased sense of there's no time to waste or something like that. And this just continue the spiritual search and find something, hopefully, that is a kind of solution to this dilemma, this situation. Also, this sense of urgency, it reminded me of a conversation I had. This was quite a few years ago in our monastery in Norway. And there was a couple who came to the monastery and wanted to talk about spiritual path, spiritual approach. And their take on the spiritual life was to follow a quite traditional way of viewing life. That's in stages. So the first stage, when you're young, you educate yourself, you learn things and so on, and then you go on to living the life in society, family life, have a family, kids and so on. And later on in life, when you're getting older, you've kind of experienced life in society. Then it's kind of time to turn attention towards spiritual matters. And they were fairly young, so they were still in the kind of family stage, so to speak. And I think that this way of viewing things can sometimes sound quite attractive or reasonable or something like this, that we have time to do everything we want to do, so to speak. And then later on we can focus on spiritual matters when we have done all those things we want to do. But if we look at the Buddha's teachings, as far as I know at least, you will not find this this recommendation or this approach to spiritual life. But instead we see or we read about also very young people who go forth and to try and find the deathless, to try to find that beyond death. And we can ask ourselves, well, why is that? Why is the Buddha's approach different? I think one obvious reason is that we can't really plan life that way. Life is uncertain. We don't know when death is going to come, or when a very serious illness is going to come, or when something is going to happen. We can't say for sure that our life will be in this stage and then that stage and then this will happen and then after that I will do this and so on. So just here at the monastery we very often get various notes with dedications and so on. People have passed away. And one thing that you notice there that is all kinds of ages. It's not just older, mature people. It can be very young, middle age, or any kind of age. It's not really predictable. It's uncertain. So we might, if we delay too much, then we might never get the chance. We might never find the opportunity. That time might never come. And if we look at or trust the Buddha's teachings, then we have lost quite a rare opportunity. The opportunity of one, human life, and two, a life where we have found or come in contact with spiritual practice of the Buddha's teachings. Had an opportunity to develop the mind, to do good deeds, I think also another reason is that spiritual practice takes a very long time, at least for most of us. It's not a overnight fix or something like this. It's not a one-day retreat or something like that. It takes a long time to deal with one's suffering. And probably or likely, the longer we wait, the more set will our habits be as well. The more ingrained or strong the craving and the attachments be. So if we just wait until I'll do it later or something like this, then the task will probably be also more difficult. Not only in the sense that the habits are more ingrained, but also in the sense that our faculties are probably starting to decline as well, or energy, maybe there's more pain and so on. I think that all those probably at least reasons for not delaying too much, not taking for granted that we will have the time later or something like that. I guess also what I noticed is that this great sense of urgency or importance of practice has to be balanced by other qualities as well. Otherwise it can become unsustainable, or too much pressure, or too much drive. So we're able to find a skillful balance of this urgency or sincerity in the practice, and then also qualities like patience, kindness, finding some kind of wholesome joy. Maybe also a bit of humor every now and then. Can be great balancing factors on the spiritual path. I also think it's very important to find a method or a path, so to speak, that one has confidence in, that can lead one beyond this, beyond suffering, beyond the body, beyond aging and death. Even if we don't know for sure, and even if we don't have experienced it ourselves, maybe we have enough confidence in the Buddha, his teachings, or other practitioners, other teachers that have, what we believe, fulfilled the path. And to pick up and take to heart their teachings. And also on some kind of intellectual level see how it might work, how this might take us beyond, lead to something, lead to a true refuge. In Buddhism, it's very much about abandoning or dropping clinging, grasping, identification, attachment. Firstly to the body, that's one very big practice. And there's many practices described in the suttas and in the various traditions. How to direct mindfulness towards the body and then use it for develop mindfulness, developing samadhi, and also developing wisdom, in order to gradually detach or stop attaching to the body as me, mine, myself. The instructions for this we find in various ways, in various suttas. For example, the Satipatthana Sutta. We gradually can keep mindfulness on the breathing, for example, to build up a sense of clarity. And then with that increased clarity, observe and reflect and realize the not-self nature of the body. And the mind gradually detaching and becoming more and more free, being able to not cling to the body anymore, not cling to the pain, not take those things as me or mine. And that's, in some suttas, that's called being, you can be afflicted in the body, but you don't have to be afflicted in the mind. So when the mind or when on the mental level we no longer take the body as self, then there don't have to be mental suffering even if there is physical pain. Gradually learning how to do this and developing the skills, developing the qualities needed. And yes, I think that's probably the biggest lesson I took with me from this experience in Sweden, and just a sense of urgency and importance of spiritual practice. So maybe I'll just finish with some words of the Buddha, his encouragement for us to saying goes something like, meditate, bhikkhus, do not delay, or else you will regret it later. This is our instruction to you. So I just offer that for your reflection this evening, and wish you all the best in your practice. Ewa. So we can finish with the reflections on universal well-being in English on page number 41 in the dark brown book. Now let us chant the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being
in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action, and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and its results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs.
And finishing with the closing homage in English, found on page 29.
The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples, who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha.